What's going on, guys? What's cracking out in the garage? And I'm working on hoses for the wife's car today. These aren't Red Horse hoses. These are from Powerhouse Racing. Now, I am going to be using Red Horse Performance slip fittings today, which I'll show you though once they show up. But I want to show you some things with these hoses that you might need to do for your Supra, depending how it's set up. So today we've got some Powerhouse Racing hoses. These hoses here are actually designed to go to your heater core. You have your top and you have your bottom hose. Now, you're probably running, well, Ryan, why do you have these? Good question. The reason for these is multitude. One, these are a silicone hose, so they stand up to heat a lot better than a standard rubber hose. If we come over to my car here, you'll see that I had this little hose set up. This is something from Supra forums back in the day, because if you didn't know, the factory system comes up and then sits on top of the coil cover and it looks like crap. These are some like random Subaru hoses that kind of work, but they're just regular rubber. And if you see here, I've got a heat sleeve here on this hose right here because of the downpipe being so close, and I had one start to melt. So I started to put heat sleeve on it, and it has worked, but it looks like crap. Versus these beautiful ones from Powerhouse Racing, I won't have to do that. Being silicone like this, plus they're a lot softer, and they're actually bent to fit. These are designed to fit the twin turbo water lines though, and I'm using the NA water line. So the back one, the one that goes in the top of the head, that goes in the heater core, fits perfect on my setup. But this one's gonna need some adjustment. The reason for that is I'm using the NA water pipe here at the bottom. So you can see here it comes back and makes this severe 90. On a twin turbo setup, it comes out and stops right about here and comes out at like a 45-degree angle, which this hose was designed for. So the problem is these ends here are too long. So you have to snip it down just before the bend, slip it on both the top and bottom, and it will work. So again, I'm going to mark it here, show you where to mark it at, show you where you need to cut, and this should fit perfect. All right, guys, so here's the final result. I did put these lines back, so I apologize, but you can see the top line there went right in. You can see it goes down there, swoops around, and goes directly into your heater core. Now, this hose here, I did have to mutilate, and so did I have to this line. This line is designed for the twin turbo setup. So I had to cut down the pipe some there, and then cut off some of the line up there. Both ends, I had to trim off some of the ends because it was getting a kink in it here. And you didn't want that, and you can see it still has plenty of flex and everything. You don't have to worry about that, but I did have to trim down the pipe. This is the NA water pipe. If you have the factory twin turbo pipes, that's not a problem. So I had to mutilate that just a little bit. And if I come over here, I can show you. Like I said, I just kept taking sections off. You can see, I just kept cutting sections off as I went. And here, you can see where I originally cut off just a little bit of the nipple there. And then I had to cut the whole way down to here, past the point that I actually had welded shut, and then slipped it over this bigger part. So it should be fine. If I actually look over at my car that I did years ago, I had to do something similar too, as if you didn't, like I was saying about it, it goes up and over the engine, and it's just not that pretty. One of my favorite things is getting new parts also, guys. I love when new stuff comes in, and this part today comes from DewlaDezign Performance. They do a lot of stuff in the Nissan world, and they were really big in that. And the owner now, Joe, wants to get into the Supra world more and more. There's a bunch of cool stuff coming from him. If you guys don't already know, he sells the awesome splash shields that I have personally on my Supra. It saves you a lot of headache. What I mean by that is, having one of those splash shields, something comes up, it doesn't hit anything on the engine this way. God forbid something does come up, yes, it will destroy the splash shield, but I'd rather destroy that than something on the engine. It also keeps dirt and debris out, and he's finishing up, so it wraps the whole way around. So it's a true splash shield. Keeps all the water out, keeps all the dirt and debris out, and actually helps with aerodynamics, kind of like the factory setup did, but it was plastic, and this is gonna be all aluminum. But today, I have something a little bit different. This is something that is an annoyance in the Supra world. If you guys know, we have a plastic dead pedal. And if you've ever tried to take it out and you don't know how it comes out these little plastic screws. Well, let me just show you these little plastic screws and how Toyota is very ingenious the way they put it in there, but it also really stinks. This is the factory Supra dead pedal. Looks like any other dead pedal, right? It's stationary, it's plastic, it does what it's supposed to, which is hold your foot. But if you look here, how does this come out? Because it sits in the car like so. This has a plastic backing over here that you can't get to it. Well, if you look here, you'll see it has these little two circles, and those circles are actually screws. If you see here from the side, it has these two little pedestals, and underneath here, it has these little plastic screws inside of it. They then go down into the chassis itself, which has it's threaded, but it's like a screw thread. It's not like a standard bolt thread, right? It's not like an M10 by 1.0, it's just a screw thread. But if you try to get this out without unscrewing these rip out, and then this is permanently wiggly. If you're a Mark IV owner, you know what I'm talking about. It's very annoying. Both my Supra and my wife's is like that. I even unscrewed this one. This is the one personally for my wife's, and it's permanently wiggly. Even after doing it, if you can see here again, it's just plastic. So today, we have a nice little package, which, check this out too. Like, talk about going above and beyond. He just started doing, I shouldn't say started, it's been about a year and a half now, he's been doing Supra stuff. And he even has Supra specific tape. Like, how cool is that? So again, DewlaDezign Performance. Again, I'm gonna list all the stuff down below here for you guys, make it clickable and easy. This is the dead pedal in here. So let's go ahead and open this up and see what comes in the package. Already split open the one side here, guys, because, well, this is the side it's supposed to open up on. His packaging is always very, very good. I love that right off the bat, he tapes this to the top. So you're not gonna miss this. These are your pedestals. Oh goodness, there we go, as I rip the box apart. Nicely packaged, like you would get from a professional shop that's just in throwing in Ziploc baggies. He actually has these plastic bags. Comes with a nice DDP. Look at that, nice little sticker. Those are your aluminum pedestals with screws. I'll show you those here more in a second. Get this out here next. Ooh, look at that. Dang, that is packaged up, good lordy. There's our pedestal, which again, look how much that's bubble wrapped. Oh, what's this? What are these? Are these wooden coasters? Dude, check those out. Little wooden coasters. God, this might be good with my beer. Look at that, I love that. Thank you, Joe. These are really cool. I didn't know you did this. Very, very neat. Make sure there's nothing else on the bottom. But yeah, we're good. So here's the actual dead pedal. So let's go ahead and slice that open. I love that he goes the nth degree on packaging. It's better to be safe than sorry. Do this up. Ooh, look at that. Again, in another plastic bag. Look at that. And I personally, we actually discussed this, putting the Supra logo facing this way or vertically. I personally liked it vertical, and it looks like Joe stuck with that. This is powder coated then, and it has a rough powder coat finish. If you guys can see here, I'll get a little bit closer, but if you listen, it has a rough finish. So I saw someone post saying like, oh, that's gonna be slippery. No, I mean, this is gonna be no different than, this is grooved here, but this is smooth plastic. This is no different here or here. So here you go, side by side. Here's a new one from DewlaDezign, and here's the factory one. Now, as you can see, again, this has this like rib design where this is smooth, but it has this powder-coated textured finish. And again, to attach this, you can see the factory one had these little pedestals. Well, this doesn't. Well, how do you attach it? Well, he came with these little billet pieces, and you screw them in. You can see here. You can see it's got a little plastic retainer inside of it, and you screw these on first. So you can see here, he's notched it out, so you can put like an adjustable wrench on. I'm not sure if a standard wrench fits, but you can put an adjustable wrench on this. Tighten these down first, get it down on those studs coming out of the chassis, and then flip this over, set this down on, and you put these little guys right there down on the pedal itself, and that's what holds it on. Keeps it nice and tight then, won't wiggle around, won't have the problem that the stock one does. So let me show you inside the car. I'm gonna use my wife's car here as a first example of how this needs to be attached and goes on. All right, so first things first, I have to put these in. And you can see it on the bottom, it has a little plastic insert. I'm gonna go ahead and take these out just because, well, it's easier to do it now while it's outside the car. Do that one, see if this one's loose too. Is this one loose? That one's of course tight, so I need to take this, put it on here, see if I can do it by hand. See if I can break it loose. No. It's actually tight in there, so I have to break that loose. But go ahead and put this one inside the car. So is that gonna roll off the table? No, whew, lucky. So you're gonna take this little guy here, and again, I'm gonna try threading it in by hand first. So you're gonna come down here, and down over here, we're on the kick panel side. And can you see the two little studs? Let's get a little bit close here. See the two studs coming out? We got a stud here, and a stud here, and a stud behind the camera. Dude, I had to, dad jokes. So what you're gonna wanna do is put this, thread this on first and foremost. You're gonna take this little guy here and start threading that on. And just give it a minute to go down through. Don't put too much force on it either. You just wanna press on it and let it thread down on. So we'll do the top one first, sorry. There we go. And you're gonna go to a bottoms out. Now, again, it does have, I'm able to screw this on by hand. I don't wanna put any more pressure. It is plastic threaded, so I don't wanna go any crazier than I have to. So I'm gonna go as far as I can by hand and then get the wrench out. Got like 1/4 of an inch or 1/2 an inch to go. So I'll get a wrench on it and crank that down. So I'm actually able to get an 18 on this threaded part. So if I go like that, again, I just gotta tighten this down to a bottoms out. Nothing crazy. And I don't want to bend the stud either. So again, it's going to take a little bit because, well, I'm doing it by hand, and I don't want to go too crazy tight either until I get there. So keep going. And let's go ahead and put the other one on the bottom just so I can get a feel for it. I'm also going to test the pedal itself just to make sure it actually threads on. I don't want to put these pedestals on and then be off at all, so let's go ahead and do that. So this one here is already getting tight, so go ahead and start putting this one on too. Again, an adjustable will work too, but I found an 18mm will fit. Guys, I'm really, really happy with this. Ignore this cable too, I gotta put it back in, but very, very, very happy with the fit and finish of this. Fits in here perfectly, and again, look. You're gonna kick this, do whatever, and it's good to go. I'm very happy with this. Sits nice and flush in there. It doesn't stick up down here or anything. It's perfect with the carpet. It's not digging into the body or anything. I'm impressed. He made sure to do it. I mean, yeah, I know he always overthinks everything, and it shows. I mean, this is very nice. Obviously, without going crazy, this is sheet metal that's bent up and stuff, but it's done properly. I'm impressed. I really, really like it. Like the look. It gives a little bit nicer look. I kind of wish I had like nicer pedals now, kind of like a metal cover, like the newer cars have, something like the Viper has and stuff with the metal pedal, and then it has like the little dots. Maybe I'll find something like that for this car that makes something nice. I'd like to have a nice pedal cover or something that actually drills through this and attaches nice and firm. Replace that one too. I just think it will match better with this. Maybe Joe over Dewla will come up with something like that eventually, but this is to fix your problem, guys. Again, I'm going to list it down below, but let's move on. This does look great though. All right, something else I am doing here, guys. What the hell? Yeah, so I decided to drill these out. I saw a gentleman by the name of 94 MK5 or MK4, go MK4 on Instagram say he blew up his engine from sand debris left over from sandblasting from his valve covers. And I'm like, yeah, I didn't take these out. I'm like, yeah, because it's not a big deal. Fuck it. Yeah, they're a little grimy, but whatever. I cleaned them up and stuff, but he's like, take them apart. I just took the one apart, and I'm going to take this one apart, and I'm going to put them side by side, and it's holy shit. Like, it was one sand and plus this shit, like, baked on oil, because the engine could have seen a little bit better life. So I'm going to clean this up because that's why I had the head really cleaned on this car. So yeah, I am drilling these rivets out, and then I'm going to tap the holes for an M6 by 1.0 and then put bolts in it with red Loctite. Joel Granis actually does a great video on that. I'll link it down here. He goes in really great detail on how to do this. Probably the best video I know on the internet. So I'll let you guys just watch his because I'm not going to steal his thunder because he did a great job of doing it. So I'm glad I took these apart, but at the same time, I think I could have got away with not doing it, besides it being dirty. So here's the ones I've cleaned up, okay? Here's the one side I cleaned up. Here's the baffle that I drilled out to take out. Here's the, excuse me, good Lord, Ryan, the passenger side and the inside of it. Now, all that is just burnt on oil, but it's like, well, maybe I should just get it off anyways. I don't see any sand residue like I thought it would. This is really burnt on oil. It looked like this before it went to sandblasting. But you know what? I'm glad I did it now. Should have did it beforehand, but it is what it is. So this one's all cleaned up. I have to drill and tap it now. Again, I'm gonna go to Lowe's here, get an M6 by 1.0 drill, take my time and slowly drill these out, tap it. You don't have to go anything crazy either, guys. Like don't freak out here. I might even go smaller because that seems awfully big. I saw Joel use an M6 by 1.0, but I almost want to go smaller than that and go like M5 or M4. I don't think I need anything crazy, and then use like some red Loctite to hold it in. So I'll decide here, guys, and let you know. So I ended up getting the covers back on here. If you guys can see, the covers are all back on. I'll actually just flip up a picture here I have on my phone. It's not the greatest, but you guys can see that I tapped it with an M6 by 1.0, then put a bolt in it. Now this has factory cams. You guys might need to do a cap screw style bolt in there just so you can clear your cams. And you need to double check and triple check that to make sure it does clear. Mine does. I put the covers on, cranked the engine a couple times, and I put little like red dots or red paint on it, so if it would scrape it, it would hit that, or even if you don't have that, you should be able to hear it, or you should see a marking on the bolt itself. Mine didn't have any problems. Again, this is factory cam, so it wasn't really an issue. I know my videos haven't been coming out quite as quick, and you guys know, kids. So I'm trying to do a little bit better, but I never know when I'm gonna have videos ready. I don't know what days are good, what days are bad, so I'm trying to do my best here. I got a few more parts for this. I got a video update for Colton's car here I wanna do for you guys, so working on that next. So anytime I get free time, I'm trying to do this. I don't get to leave the house much. I'm fortunate, at least all this is attached to the house, so I don't have to go very far. So again, guys, thank you very much for tuning in today. I'm going to be working on new shirts here, so I'll have something for you guys here soon. Hopefully you guys can help a brother out. I'll have them up on the website. They'll probably be around $25 like they were in the past, and then I usually charge around like $3 to ship everything to try and keep it as close as possible, so it'll probably be around 28 bucks. Let me know if that's too much or for you guys. If you think it is, then yeah, I just want to make sure I can gauge what I should charge for these things. And the only reason I'm saying that too I have to make a little bit of money so I can recoup, you know, doing this again and again. The other thing is it worth my time? It's time consuming trying to print and trying to do everything and get it out there and get it sent to you guys. So are you willing to pay that? Like I said, be around $27, $28. There'll be front and back shirts, fully colored. Like it's not gonna just be some generic shirt. I'm getting custom design done for it. Should be pretty unique. So let me know if you guys like that idea. Again, I'll have something up for you soon. Again, guys, thank you very much, and I'll talk to you later. Peace.